everyone, thanks so much for joining me. In this video, we're going to cover some standard stretches for the lower half of the body and things that I think most people are really familiar with, maybe with just a little extra awareness, a little extra called juiciness. I like to get the most out of any exercise, any stretch. I'm doing it barefoot, but you could totally do this with socks and shoes. So whatever works best for you. So the stretches for the lower half of the body usually start with the calf. So I'm going to cover the calf, the quadricep, the hamstring, and the glute. Okay, so lower half of the body stretches. Now while we're focusing on those, we still want to make sure that we keep a nice lengthened spine. So with the calf stretch, I always think about warrior one. Warrior one is an excellent stretch for the calf muscle. So you put 1 foot forward, 1 foot back at the back foot is turned at a slight angle, but your hips and shoulders are mainly squared to the front. Okay, so even though, so the calf stretch here is in the back leg, I still want to keep the front leg really active. So I'll lift my toes, root across the feet, pulling energy up that center line, the middle toe, center of the foot, ankle, knee, hip, seamlessly. So I can engage, glutes, abs, sides, pulling head of the arm bones in. So as I hinge, I'm still trying to feel the seamless channels with an emphasis in the stretch to the calf. Okay, so I'll push down in my front foot and draw energy up, and I'll press down in my back foot and pull energy up all the way beyond the crown of the head. So no position is just merely a stretch. Okay, it really feels like a high quality total body receiver of length and space. Okay, I just can't disconnect from that. So everything I do, I try to pull that awareness, that intention in. Okay, and then usually what I do is step back so that my back feet will start at the same place and then bring the back foot forward. Okay, same thing this side, working across the feet evenly, pulling from my fingertips or palms, pulling energy up, lengthening. Okay, so if I'm in that stretch for however many breaths, I'm getting the most I possibly can out of it. So for stretching the hamstrings, you could absolutely be near a wall, use that, get a little extra bonus for the spine with that support or without. But really important, if we're trying to stretch the back of the leg, then the front of the leg needs to help anchor it. Okay, so we need to have the front of the thighs, the quadriceps, engaging, helping create and add space to the joints, length to the spine. Okay, so center lines the feet parallel. I'm going to turn on profile here in a second. Pulling the energy up, straightening the legs with that sense of intention. Okay, so the quadriceps are engaging, the base of the glutes are engaging. Okay, more detail given in the pose focus video for forward fold or uttanasana, in yoga. So center lines of the feet parallel, lengthen, engaging the quads, engaging base of glutes, pelvic floor to really pull that length up. So I'm still imagining I've got a block between my thighs, still imagining, right, that posture jetpack, that foam roller at my spine, strapped to my body. The more flexible you are, the less the legs are going to want to stay tuned in. Okay, so I have to tell my thighs, engage, to keep happy knee joints, happy spine, still trying to zip up the spine, pulling up the pit of the belly, lengthen, and you just go to the depth that feels appropriate, for an effective stretch in the back of the legs, maybe shifting forward, shifting back, incorporating the spine. I'll show that in just a second. So however long you stay forward, you don't want to come up suddenly. You want to pause. You could come up with straight legs if that feels okay, or bending the knees to come up, reaching up, So incorporating the wall here, or you could do countertops, right? So I'm still drawing energy up from the feet, up from the hands, lengthen, and then you can get a stretch in the legs, lengthen the spine, and maybe, just depending on how it feels for your chest, to let your chest dip down and get an extra stretch there, only as long as it feels okay. Okay, so we've got calves, hamstrings, now for the quads. Really important for the quadriceps that when we're trying to stretch the front of the legs, that the hips stay level, that we still find length in the spine. I always think about hero pose when doing a standard quad stretch. So you could have access here to the wall, turning so that you're next to the wall, but catching a foot or maybe holding a strap to help you catch the foot, making sure that the the lifted knee isn't going to flare out to the side. So trying to keep those thigh bones parallel. The lifted knee then goes behind the standing leg. The standing leg is slightly bent. Okay, so I'm rooting across that standing foot, leg, drawing that energy up evenly, keeping that knee, the lifted knee back, and zipping up the spine. Still trying to find length and space all the way up. The more flexible you are, the harder it's going to be to feel this stretch, and so that you can always take this to the next level going into hero pose, supine hero, you know, lots of good stuff. But while you're exploring this, make sure that your joints are happy. If your muscles don't feel a stretch, nothing dangerous about that, as long as your joints are happy. Now everybody is different, everybody's body is different, and so some stretches are going to feel more relevant, okay, and responsive for your body, okay. So for me, I don't get a ton out of this one, but I feel a sense of it, I feel a sense of that awareness, but I'm still trying to make sure that the joint channels are open and supported, okay. So that is a quadricep stretch. And then a typical glute stretch, okay, would be, in yoga, I typically call this temple pose. There's all these different names, right? So just something that we'll get to, right? The glute muscle. Now here, what I'm trying to make sure is I don't swing. Okay, so again, I'm trying to keep my hips open, my, from the feet, right? That center line still consistent. So flexed feet, open channels at the ankles, knees, hips, going back. You do not have to make this a balance pose. Still looking for that length at the low belly, lifted heart. So good, right? And then the other side. So same thing. We're not symmetrical, okay? So you might have more difficulty staying in the organized position on one side than on the other. Really, really typical. But keep awareness of your breath, your length, your space. And there we go. I think we covered kind of a standard stretch for most, right? So for connecting with the lower half of the body. And on a separate video, we'll cover the upper half of the body. I hope that this is helpful. You have a great day. Namaste.